University education really worth it? Well, let's go to our central London studio, and joining me there is Professor Diane Hopkin from Universities UK and internet entrepreneur Mike Welch, who joins me from Edinburgh. Professor, first of all, let's put it in perspective. If you don't go to university, what do you think you're missing out on?
I think we've got to get this straight. People get higher education in all sorts of ways nowadays, not simply by going to university. You can actually get a degree while you're working, studying part-time. So it's a spectrum of opportunities.
Is that a recognition from you that perhaps the qualification is not worth what it used to be?
Oh no, very, very, very different. The reality is we need a competitive economy. We need far more people educated to a higher level in this country than we've ever had before to remain competitive in the world. And therefore there's all sorts of ways you can get a degree. But going to university does give you that opportunity to develop yourself over a period of time, to meet a whole range of other people, and to do the kind of subjects that in fact you may not have even thought of doing before, and gain qualification in the process.
Let me talk to Mike Welch now. Mike, you didn't go to university, yeah?
Not through the normal route, Eamon, no. I left school at 16, started my first business, and that was just because the system really didn't allow me to progress through to my A-levels, to college.
What did you do then?
So my schooling was very...
Did you get a qualification later in life?
Yeah, I did, but it was more practical, so I was able to really dip in and learn the elements that were going to help me develop my business. I think one of the issues we have is the system, the process can be prohibitive unless you're academically qualified and astute. And actually, you know, there's a lot of people who've got the skills who fall off the process, maybe aren't able to go onto A-levels, to get then onto university, who don't get the benefits of that higher education, but they are smart, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that what education's got to do is really assess that and address it early on.
I think that's a very good point, Mike. Being educated and being smart may be two different things there. Professor, so many courses, but are they courses for life and for work?
Well, I'm actually with Mike. I think we've been obsessed historically, and we all recognise this, with only one kind of qualification which gets you to university. If you look around the sector now, you'll see a huge number of people coming in with vocational qualifications, coming to do practical subjects, coming to do subjects with work experience attached, and I welcome that. I think what we need is far more people, as Mike himself has indicated, who actually do combine an experience of life with study. But you can do that in university nowadays. In the old days, you couldn't.
But Mike, you are an employer as well. Tyres are your business, as I see from over your head there, yeah?
Yes, that's right, Eamon.
Yeah.
40% less than the high street. Yeah.
That's good. You see, Mike, that's what being smart is, getting that in. That's what being smart is. But tell me this, Mike, when you go to employ somebody in the office there, whatever, what are you looking for? Are you going to be impressed if they say, I have a degree? Is that a prerequisite?
Attitude is what we look for. We look for the people who are willing to invest their attitude, their time, and you know, in our business. And I think that irrespective of education, experience, you know, comes at equal level, I think, with education. But attitude is a prerequisite. And I think that one of the issues we've got is that education process perhaps takes away an element of that, you know, hunger. So, you know, there's an expectation at the end of the process that people are going to get a living, going to get a job at a certain level, and that's not always the case nowadays.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you both, beginning with you, Mike, where you both stand on the government's target of 50% of all youngsters in third-level education. That is their aim. Is it necessary, Mike, first of all?
No, I think that the focus needs to be principally on enterprise and therefore on the economy. I think that there's a deficit in enterprise in the UK, and I think that what we do, unfortunately, is we target success based on something tangible like a piece of paper. I think professional services, absolutely, we excel at that, but otherwise, no, I don't agree with it.
Professor, as an academic, you couldn't totally agree with what he's saying there, but where do you stand on 50% of youngsters in third-level education?
I think it's the wrong question. The question is, how many people of highest qualification do you need in this country to be competitive with countries in the Far East, with America and the rest? And actually, it's a lot more than that,
Professor,
reaching that qualification.
More than that, but Professor, the thing is, Mike is there and he's saying practical and economic qualifications, and there are a lot of courses which a lot of people would describe as woolly and leading to absolutely nowhere. Do you believe that, or do you believe there is worth in every form of education that you take up?
I think that view, with all due respect, is out of date. I think we now have very many courses which are linked to the economic sectors that we have. And actually, what I think is very odd is people are very critical of subjects which are deeply practical. You know, you hear people saying, well, why should you be trained to run, you know, major golf industry? Well, why not? It's a major part of the economy. And, you know, what we must do is become much more ambitious about the kind of qualifications we offer, and indeed, by the way, the routes by which you get to those qualifications. And that includes enhancing vocational and professional routes as well as academic routes.
I'd love to talk to you more. We're both out of time, but I think I can gather from both of you that if you're an 18-year-old watching and you failed at A-level, it may not be the end of the world. Certainly we can take that from both of you. Thank you both very much indeed for your perspective on things. Time has beaten us. Top stories you're waking up to, time just after 8:45.